This classic episode of the Electric Playground is brought to you by PMP Games, your source for everything video games. Support the partners that support Electric Playground. Remember, this episode first aired in 1998.
What do we got this week, Dad?
Hey, this week we've got Wild Nines.
VP, what's going on?
Tallrico.
And the Star Wars Rebellion. Here on the Electric Playground, right, Chippy?
Everyone has questions for this guy. He's one of the top executives at Sony and one of the coolest guys in the industry. Wow. Wow. We are here with a great friend of mine, Phil Harrison. How do you perceive the console competition out there, Nintendo and Sega?
We've shipped over 30 million machines worldwide. So our competition is movies, music, watching TV.
What about the PC market?
The $2,500 PC with a 3DFX card is very cool, but it's only for a very small number of people.
How many PlayStation games are there total?
Right now in North America, we have just over 400 titles. Worldwide, there's about 1,200 games out there.
Whoa.
PlayStation. Hey, it's me. Can you drop a DualShock down here right away? Have a play.
Wow, cool.
Do you get a buzz out of that one? Do you like the vibe that you get from that?
And what about different colors for these things?
Well, we have a whole rainbow of colors coming out for
yeah?
controllers and memory cards and other peripherals that are available for the PlayStation.
And what about different color PlayStations? I mean, there's so many different ones. What's up with that?
We have the gray PlayStation, which is the consumer machine. We have a black PlayStation, which is the Net Your Rose machine.
When I first came in, I noticed a gold one you had in the office.
Well, the gold PlayStation is something that happens with alarming regularity. We keep passing these huge milestones for 10 million, 20 million, 30 million.
Must be awful.
So the office is cluttered with all these gold PlayStations. We don't know what to do with them all. The biggest selling PlayStation game worldwide is probably Final Fantasy VII.
Is it?
Tekken? Crash Bandicoot 1 is up there. Tekken is up there. Tekken 3, which is out
It's
now,
gonna be up there.
has shipped millions and millions of units in the first few weeks. So that's going to be one of the biggest games ever. The Tomb Raider franchise, Tomb Raider 1 and 2, those have all done over 1 million. Game Day, that's done over 1 million.
Really? Wow.
We have a cornucopia of hits.
Cornucopia. A goat's horn depicted as overflowing with fruits, flowers, and corn, signifying prosperity.
The rebellion is upon us. Help us, Victor Lucas. You're our only hope.
I'm with Tom Byron in a galaxy far, far away, and we're here to talk about Star Wars Rebellion. I'm sure that people are going to be rushing out to pick this thing up because it's got the Star Wars license on it. Is there anything that you could say to sort of let them know, give them a heads up on what they should expect?
Well, they should expect a game of a very deep immersive strategy.
Can I assist you?
Do you think that there was some misconception about what kind of a game this was ultimately going to turn out to be?
We were worried about that at first. There was some talk about it. Is it like a Command and Conquer, or is it like more like Master of Orion? That confusion, that early confusion has kind of gone away.
What are some of the things that people can look forward to as they get into this game and give it some time?
You have 200 planets. You have to explore and take over those planets. You have to find characters and use them. And this can go on for a long time.
Right.
Particularly when you're trying to manage the resources of each one of those planets as well. A quick tip for the new gamer is when you start the game, start it on easy, and then pick the one planet victory. If you're on the Empire side, you have to find and capture Luke Skywalker. You have to capture Mon Mothma, who's the leader of the Rebel Alliance. And you have to capture the Rebel base. And if you're on the Rebel side, you have the same sort of conditions to meet. If you actually win the game, you'll see these very great cutscenes. You know, I always say this is not a game about cutscenes because it's all about the game, but you know, one thing about the cutscenes is that they're certainly LucasArts quality. So when you first start the game, you've already made your choice as to whether or not you're going to be playing the Rebel Alliance or the Galactic Empire.
Right.
And when you get there, let's take a look. You've got a lot of windows, a lot of things that you're going to have to deal with. But the first thing you see is the command center. You see your planets. So you see a lot of familiar planets like Corellia, where Han Solo's from, Kessel. You've heard about the Kessel Run.
Yeah.
Tatooine, the native planet of Luke Skywalker. So a lot of familiarity, a lot of other planets that you haven't seen, like Gorman.
It's almost encyclopedic how much information is stored within this game. Where did you guys get all that stuff?
There's a lot of source books. The Art of Star Wars, there's actually books devoted to the characters of Star Wars, to the planets of Star Wars, to the ships and crafts of Star Wars.
Who makes sure that's all correct? Who makes sure that you guys don't screw up and put a planet in the wrong system or the wrong character in the wrong place?
That's absolutely done all through Lucasfilm licensing.
Okay.
Lucasfilm, they have people on staff that are absolute experts. They're keepers of the Bible, as it were.
Thanks very much for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
It's great. Are we there yet?
Any minute now. Prepare for hyperspace.
Oh!
And when you obtain all 7 Chaos Emeralds as Tails, he becomes Super Tails. He is invincible and gets 4 Super Flickies.
4 Super Flickies following him that absolutely dominate bosses.
Yes,
Yeah.
Dr. Robotnik will not know what hit him.
This is going to be a minute, but hey, really quick, thank you for supporting the Electric Playground Classic. Please tell a friend. Past and Present Games is proud to support Victor and EP Classic as we celebrate video game history every Saturday morning. Where were we? See you next week. Play forever.
Favorite Sonic level? It's probably impossible to choose, so many classics. I like the sound of tails flying. Shua, 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 shua.
Where is the best place to bring portable video games?
I don't know, the beach maybe?
School, definitely school. English class. English class. The best place to bring them, in the swimming pool.
There's lots of time for slacking at work, so.
Anywhere, really, anywhere. Libraries, political meetings, everywhere.
The biggest selling video game system ever of all time is the Game Boy.
Hi, we're here at Nintendo of America. We're going to talk about the Game Boy, which has lasted forever. This thing has been around for almost 10 years. Why has it been so successful?
The Game Boy is so portable.
What are some of the early games in its history that were real trendsetters that really sort of put the Game Boy on the map?
Tetris.
Yeah.
Tetris is the huge one. I still play Tetris. And I think the other really huge one for Game Boy was Zelda. And whenever you talk to somebody about Game Boy, those are the two they mention right off the top.
How do game developers make games for the Game Boy? Because obviously you don't have a lot of memory to play with. You don't have a lot of storage to play with.
One of the keys behind making a successful large Game Boy game is compression. You can use data, for example, let's say you have 2 levels of a game. You can use some of the graphics data on the first level. You can also use that same data to be modified subtly.
There's going to be a color Game Boy in the near future.
Right.
But before that, there's going to be something called the Game Boy Pocket Camera.
Yeah, I could actually show you if you want.
Yeah, let's see.
I have one in my pocket.
Pocket size.
And it looks just like a cartridge, except it's got a camera on the top. You just put it in the back here like a regular Game Boy cartridge. It's got a big eye lens on it, which rotates 180 degrees. You can make animations and create your own sound effects. There's also another device that you can get in association with the Pocket Camera called the Pocket Printer.
Oh.
So you can take pictures of your friends, or you can take pictures on your vacation.
All right.
And then hook this up with the Game Link cable and print out the pictures that you took.
Okay, well, why don't I hold onto this one, and you can show us how this thing works on the Super Game Boy.
All right.
Okay.
Great. You're gonna have to duck down
get
here
into the camera.
in the camera range, and then see a picture of yourself. You can add some comments and text, little eyebrows on you. Put a frame on here.
Scary.
You want to select print. It communicates with the printer just like it would if you had another Game Boy hooked up.
That's me. It's mini-me. Can you tell us a little bit more about the color Game Boy at all?
It's all pretty hush-hush right now. The color Game Boy is it's in development. We'll know more about it when E3 rolls around.
please make it color. Please bring me a little bit of color in this tiny little screen.
Why has it taken so long to create a color Game Boy? And why is it happening now?
10 years ago, already there were color LCD screens, but they are very expensive and also they were consuming a lot of batteries, so they were not suitable for the portable video games.
This revolutionary new screen that'll display 56 colors will be launched on November the 23rd in time for the holiday season. And the really good news is, of course, that it's backwards compatible with all 1,000 titles that have already been published for that system.
Now, at last, the so-called reflective type PFP LCD has come to the market. By utilizing this, you don't have to consume a lot of batteries, and the price has significantly gone down. And so, after all, it took 10 years to come up to this stage.
You're going to see us all on the show floor with a t-shirt that says Game Boy Forever, and doesn't it seem like it?
Game Boy's going to continue on to have an awesome year, and it's just going to keep going forever, it looks like. Thanks a lot, Mark.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Recently, Heat.net had me over for lunch. Flesh Feast, the new game you're producing, tell me all about it.
Flesh Feast takes all the gore, all the horror, and all the intensity of a zombie movie and throws you right in the middle of it. You play the role of 3 heroes that are trapped on this island that are suddenly beset by zombies. They have to figure out what's going on, they have to figure out how to survive, and if they don't, then they're going to end up being basically food for the dead. So yeah, you play the role of the 3 heroes plus other humans that you can bring in. There's actually about 40 or so different characters that you can bring into your group. You can play 4 at a time.
What's the deal with the zombies?
Well, you can play as the zombies in a multiplayer mode. We call it the Eat Your Friends Deathmatch. The zombies are the threat to the humans. The zombies are hard to stop. They want to get the humans, they want to kill them, they want to eat them, and they will unless the humans find a way to stop them. You have to use strategy as well, because there's many different types of scenarios. You have a mall level, which is similar to the Dawn of the Dead movie.
I mean, there is a lot of violence in this game.
Well, it is a mature rated game, and you know, when we decided we're going to do this game, we said, let's do it right. Let's go all out. So we target the mature rated game, so we have the goriest FMVs you're going to see. We have some really cool, disgusting fighting sequences within the game. It's about gore, it's about horror, and it's got plenty of good gameplay in there too. And so really, I have no problem with it, and I think that the people who are looking for that type of game will be happy.
I mean, the actual ad for Flesh Feast is a pretty gory ad.
Yeah, some people say so. I think that, once again, since it's a mature rated game, we have a target audience that are looking for a horror game, and that's what they're going to get. It's totally 3D. We have multiple camera angles. You can switch around on the fly from one human to another. You can control multiple at a time, give them different directions, because a lot of times, because there's so much chaos going on, you have to send one guy over to get a key, one other character goes over and rescues a human. So you can play in whatever way works for you.
Man, I tell you what, it sounds like a great game. And this is some great grub, man. Where'd you get it?
Funny you should ask.
Huh?
You left it on again, didn't you?
There are games, and then there's Tekken 3.
PlayStation.
This is Air Guys, created by Dream Factory, designers of Tobal No. 1 and Tobal No. 2. You'll find it at arcades right now. Next year it'll be on PlayStation. To control Cloud or Tifa, just wait 1 month for Cloud, 2 months for Tifa. The final boss, Django, is released after 90 days of launch. He resembles Red 13 from Final Fantasy. Let's go!
Here comes the next long-awaited game from Shiny Entertainment, Wild Nines.
Who is it?
Yo, it's DP. What's going on, brother?
What the hell are you doing here?
Oh, come on. You're not still mad because of the stunt copper thing.
You bet I am.
Give me that. Look at this. I know I broke your last one, but
cool.
Huh? Brand new.
Holy
Look at that.
Cool.
There. See?
So what about the other helicopter you broke?
Oh. Okay, so tell me about Wild Nines.
Wild Nine is basically, it's a game that we're doing starring this guy. This is Wex. He gets shot down while he's traveling through space with his family onto this planet, which is actually a cluster of planets. There's a guy who actually runs that whole cluster. His name is Karn, because he's just this giant face actually hanging on a ceiling looking at a galactic map as he plans to take over the world. So what he does is he just has this big gun that just shoots down anything that passes his planet. The result is lots of really cool stuff always falls on the planet, lots of new technology, lots of different creatures and animals, and that's where really the game comes from. That's where Wex comes from, and that's where they find this amazing weapon.
This is cool. This is the game design document from, what is this, Wild 6?
Yeah, that's when we were working on Wild 6. And we were really lucky because we realized when we wanted to pitch the movie for Wild 9, we just turned it up the other way and it became Wild 9, so we didn't have to make a new one.
Cool. Look at these.
Will you leave my... Oh, Jesus.
I'm sorry, man.
Every time you come here, you break something. Will you give me that back?
I didn't mean to... Anyway, the rig. Tell me about this rig. This torture weapon is just awesome.
Yeah, well, basically the idea of it is that if somebody comes in your office and breaks your helicopter, maybe that's where the inspiration for these torture weapons comes from.
Right.
The idea is with this electrical beam, I could grab all the enemies in the game, and the way you do it is you would grab them and then maybe push them into a machine that's running and it tears them up, or you can hold them underwater and drown them, or you can put them in a fire and then beat the fire out with them.
You were telling me a couple weeks ago, too, that you guys were working on some kind of like prototype.
This is actually a real prototype for the rig. We're actually going to take it to E3. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have some surprises for people. Yeah. Can you just move the helicopter for me and I'll show you?
Yeah, sure. Whoa.
Cool, hi. So there we go. This basically, you can see Bang gets up there on his shoulder. You see the rig. So I've got it all wired up. C-O-M-M-Y.
What?
Promise never to come back to Shiny. Promise. Don't come and see me at E3. That'll show you. Bye, Tommy. Bye.
Hey, it's time for the Tekken 3 move of the week. This week we've got King's incredible chain throw. Get ready for the arm breaker. And then it's the chicken face wing lock. And now it's the rolling death cradle. Yo! All right, ready? It's real tough now. You got to pay attention. All right, it's forward, down, down, forward, plus left punch, plus right kick. Then it's right punch, then left punch plus right punch plus left kick. And then it's left punch plus left kick plus right kick, right punch plus right kick, left punch plus right punch, and then left punch plus right punch plus left kick. That's not too difficult, is it, kids? You can all do that, can't you? Give us a smile.
Today on the Simpatico Question of the Week, John Davis from Burnaby, British Columbia asks, how do Sony's new DualShock analog controllers work?
Yeah, what we did to this was we made the thumbsticks more ergonomic so that you've got a more sensitive control over the analog functionality of the controller. We made the shoulder buttons bigger and smoother so that they're more comfortable. But the coolest thing that we added, which unfortunately you can't really experience on TV, is two vibration mechanisms, one on each side here, at 2 different frequencies, one at low frequency, one at high frequency. And the software engineers, when they write their game, can add some very cool software in there which makes them vibrate at different frequencies. You can modulate between them and get a really cool feedback experience from the controller. Adds so much to the game.
To send us your questions, stop by our website at www.electplay.com.
More now on the escalating police chase that began as a joyrider's need for speed. Every available officer has been called in to stop the Lamborghini Diablo, and it looks like the sheer number of officers out here is about to end this chase. Wait, the joyrider is going over the roadblock. Whoa. This is unbelievable.
Stick 'em up.
Yes, it's going to be a long night for law enforcement. Need for Speed 3. Hot pursuit.
Lee here with a few reasons why you should be shopping at PMP Games. The selection, everything from retro favorites to contemporary hits. The shipping, free on orders of $65 Canadian or more within Canada and the USA, and we also ship overseas. The stickers, when you spend $65 or more, you get a limited edition sticker based on our silly nonsense. Locals can check out our retail stores in Winnipeg, but for everyone else, we're at pmpgamesonline.com. Support us as we support the Electric Playground Classic. Now that's a good sticker.
Lock it down!
Robotron 64.
Oh, Robotron 64, man, it rocks! I'm a huge Robotron fan. That was like my #1 game until Mario 64 came out. This game is killer. It's 3D, you're going all around, it's just action, 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 everything. You're just blowing things up for hours on end, man. It's totally killer.
Hey, if you liked Robotron, the original game, it's great, it's new and everything, but you know, I wouldn't say it's the greatest game for the N64. Come on. What was weird was the backgrounds were just this furry light cloud thing happening on every level, you know? I mean, there wasn't a lot of variety. Come on.
It's not a graphics showcase, man. It's all about speed and gameplay and blastathon action, man. It's a throwback to the old days. I love those old days.
Okay, old days.
Robotron was one of my favorite games.
What do you give it?
I'd give it 8.5 out of 10.
8.5?
Yeah.
I'm in at about 7.
What about GEX 2?
GEX 2, here's a game I liked for the PlayStation. I mean, I thought the graphics were great, the control was good. I like the way you can control the camera angles. I like the whole skinning and texturing on GEX there. The voices are hilarious. Dana Gould's funny. Yeah, Dana Gould, him too.
Hey, I feel like I'm trapped in Boy George.
I liked it better than Mario on the 64.
Oh my God, this guy has no taste, and he's like anti-Mario. It's ridiculous.
I'm not anti-Mario, I just thought it was a better game than Mario, that's all.
Man, okay, this game is good, but it's just a Mario ripoff. There's no way to deny it, okay?
Every driving game you've ever played is a ripoff of Night Driver, so what?
GEX 2 uses almost the exact same schematic. It's the same hub system. You walk into rooms, and you've got all these different channels to go through. You go back into areas just to pick up similar kinds of things, just like you did with Mario. It's a cool game for the PlayStation. It competes with Mario, which is great.
Graphics are better, sound is better,
graphics are not better. Textures are much cooler on the Mario game. There's too much shaking around with the textures in GEX 2, and you can see that there's this seaming. I'm looking forward to GEX 2 on the N64. I think it's going to kill the PlayStation version.
Nah, I doubt it.
I think it's going to be much better. But the Dana Gould stuff is excellent. The skinning on the model is terrific. You're absolutely correct about that. It is a solid game. It just is not Mario. It does not beat Mario 64. I'd give it an 8 out of 10 for the PlayStation.
I give it about a 9, man.
9 out of 10.
Yeah, 9 out of 10.
All right. Reboot for the PlayStation.
Yeah.
This is another one of those 3D games that's just starting to filter out of everywhere now these days, man.
What do you think of the graphics? I mean,
graphics
really
are good. The
bright.
graphics are good. It's definitely aliased, so you can see the jagged edges around all the characters and stuff. But
it's a little hard to control. I like the whole hovercraft thing.
The hovercraft thing is very cool.
The way
very
you're
cool.
Flying around and
With
stuff.
the analog controller, it totally controls awesome. It's great.
But the problem is that the whole reboot license, if you want my honest opinion, it's goofy. It's corny.
It's dated, man.
Kids, you got Bit and Dot Matrix.
The levels are diverse. They're 3D. You can fly anywhere.
but it's still unsatisfying. I'd give it a 6.5 out of 10.
6.5?
Yeah.
You know what? I give it a 6.5 too.
StarCraft for the PC, man.
Okay, StarCraft. Let me tell you something about StarCraft. Okay, the sound is so awesome. I mean, you know, I'm an audio guy. I know these things. Voices and everything are freaking cool.
Yeah.
The graphics, I was expecting the next Warcraft to be like, you know, a big
after Total
improvement.
Annihilation, right? After Total Annihilation.
I thought it was going to be more 3D and everything, but it wasn't. It was a lot. It was just more of the same, but the graphics are a lot better than Warcraft.
Much better. You have these cool little characters. I love the alien races and the diversity within the languages
cool.
and stuff.
You get 3 different races.
And there's a really cool storyline behind the mission mode.
Was it a little disappointing? Did you think it was going to be a lot more though?
See, I wasn't a huge Warcraft player, so for me, this was my first experience with this thing and really immersing myself in the Blizzard real-time strategy world. I loved it, man. I thought it was awesome. It's one of the coolest PC games I've played.
Yeah, me too. I thought there was going to be a lot more 3D stuff, but you know, oh well, maybe next time.
Yeah.
You know, I love StarCraft. I give it a 9.3.
I give it a 9 out of 10. It's a killer game. Check it out. I'm sure a lot of people.
Multiplayer.
Yeah, multiplayer. Get on Battle.net. Get on Heat.
Okay.
It's out there, man. It's a great game. 9 out of 10.
We got to go. We're over here,
let's
man.
go, let's
I got the boat's over here.
Where's the boat, man? You said there was a boat.
Okay, there's no boat.
No boat?
No boat. Don't worry about it. Hold your breath.
Production assistance for the Electric Playground is provided by Nintendo of Canada, makers of 1080 Snowboarding. Heat.net, makers of Netfighter. Electronic Arts, makers of Need for Speed 3. Namco, makers of Tekken 3.
This classic episode of The Electric Playground was brought to you by PMP Games, your source for everything video games. Support the partners that support The Electric Playground. Thanks for watching, and play forever.